Hi there, I'm Leviathan and welcome to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Modded, episode 53. Okay, so we are leaving Kashyyyk. We have liberated the planet pretty much. And now we're going to be going off and finding out what exactly is lying in wait for us now. So I do need to speak to my companions, but we can do that on the Ebon Hawk. Alright, so mission first.
Hey there, what can I do for you?
Have I actually asked them about the planet? I'm pretty sure I have.
Well, I know Zalbar's from Kashyyyk, but
Pretty
sorry
sure
I
I've heard
can't be
that
more
before.
help, you know.
Okay, let's talk about your brother.
I'm not gonna worry about Griff anymore. Like you said, he brought this on himself. Besides, he always treated me like garbage. Now it's payback time.
Damn right, mission. Okay. So, Canderous, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, what do you want?
Just wondering if you got any more stories.
We fought against the Republic forces for some time, over the course of many battles. At the start, they were not much of a threat to speak of. But once the Jedi Revan took charge, things began to turn against us. The Republic fleets began to use more than just basic tactics. Feints, counterattacks, mass deceptions. Revan was a genius on the field. Revan abandoned worlds of their defenders so that others would be too fortified to strike, and was willing to make sacrifices in order to advance goals. And in the end, Revan proved too much for us.
Surely someone else would have been able to stop you if Revan hadn't.
There was no one else. The entire Republic had committed its forces behind Revan. The Sith had retreated back to their empire, and there were none else strong enough to challenge us. It looked like the entire galaxy was within our grasp. I still remember that final battle in the skies above Malachor 5. The two fleets filling the space around it, outshining the stars.
What happened in the battle?
It was not your ships, or your men, or your vaunted fight for freedom that won this, the final battle of the war. It was by the actions of one person, the Jedi Revan, that you prevailed. His strategies and tactics defeated the best of us. Even Mandalore himself was taken aback by the ferocity of his attacks, the tenacity of his defenses, and the subtleties of his plans. He fought us to a standstill, and then began pushing back. We really didn't have a chance.
Really? I always heard Revan was a woman. So why didn't you retreat?
It was what we had wanted all along, in a way. We wanted to fight the best, in a battle that would be remembered for centuries. And we did. And Revan won. I don't hold a grudge against Revan, and neither do any of my people. It was the greatest moment of my life to be in that battle. If Revan had been a Mandalorian, nothing in the galaxy would have stopped us. But wishing for the past to be different is useless. Better look to the future, as we should now. We'll talk more later, I think. Is there something else you want to know?
Yeah, can I have a stimulant?
Hey, don't worry. I think you've got enough there as it is. You don't want to overload yourself on stims. Otherwise you might destroy your adrenal system. A real warrior knows his own limits and doesn't overestimate himself. There anything else you need?
Nice. Okay, that must mean that I've got too many in my inventory. Can I ask about the Mandalorian Wars again? I'm going to. Don't suppose you want to talk about the war again?
The war we had with the Republic was supposed to be the most glorious battle in our history. But it was a very costly one. I guess we didn't think of how much we could lose in it.
Well, how much did you lose?
There weren't many of us after that last battle. Mandalore himself was killed at the hands of the Jedi Revan. The best of us could not defeat him. After that last battle, those of us that survived were stripped of our weapons, our armor, and our basilisks. Revan's forces destroyed them while we were forced to watch. Those who hadn't fled earlier were left with nothing to call their own. No weapons, no armor, only the honor of having fought in the battle we just lost. For many, this was not enough. While the rest of us were sent into exile on the Outer Rim, they tried to relive the old days, raiding worlds. They're nothing more than bandits now.
So you found work as a mercenary then?
Yeah, I found work on Taris. And forcing for Davik was not stimulating. The gangs on Taris and Davik's rivals were trash. They give no thrill in battle, no honor or glory in defeating them. It was like stepping on bugs. I sought worthy challenges, but the best that Taris could offer were nothing to me. But I think now, with you, I may finally find opponents worth fighting.
Oh, there's no one else I'd rather have by my side.
Maybe later I'll tell you more about what it was like to work for Dalek. For now, though, we should get on with our lives. Is there something else you want to know?
I think we're done for now.
Your choice. I'm here if you want something done right.
Okay, journal entry added. Well, Canderous. Canderous told how Revan and his forces destroyed the Mandalorians' weaponry and exiled them, scattering them across the Outer Rim. He thinks that now, with you, he might find worthy opponents once again. I might try to talk to him more later. Okay, this he Revan that people are talking about, I don't know him. Aha! Jolie.
Got something on your mind, do you?
Yeah, what do you know about this place?
Oh, I know plenty about Kashyyyk. You think someone doesn't live here for 20 years and pick up a thing or two? Chances are, by the time I finish telling you about it all, you would have found out for yourself. So there's no reason for me to start blathering on. It should be enough for me to tell you that there's kilometer after kilometer of trees on this planet. The deeper you go, the more dangerous it gets. If you're smart, you stay on top with the Wookiees. You go deep, however, and you may find some things you weren't expecting. And that's about all I got to say about that. Now, let's get going.
Well, alright then. Never mind then.
Oh, I get it. Let's play with the old man's head, is it? He's half senile. He'll forget I said anything. Wait, what was this about anyway?
Oh, okay, never mind, Jolie. Yeah, Zalba. Let's have a chat with you. So, can we talk about you now, Zalba? Why did you want to take the sword? Well, I'm sorry we couldn't stay longer, but we do need to get going. Let's get on with it then. Okay, Juhani.
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan?
Just wondering if we could talk.
What is it you would like to speak to me about?
What are you thinking about right now?
Taris was my home for many years. As much as I hated it, it was still home. A rat hole, a warren, a paradise. I suppose you could call it all these things. For me, it was hell.
How so?
To walk down the streets, to have people look at you in disgust, like an animal. Most did not know anything about me, but it was there, all the same. Because I was an alien, because I was different from them, frightening. I doubt any of them had even seen my people before. So they persecuted me. They looked down on me and my family. Charged us more for food, would not let us walk their streets. They spat on us. You are human. You could not possibly know.
No, humans are cruel to everybody, even each other.
That is true, I suppose. But it is much more obvious for someone like me. There were no other Kathar and Taris. No one to talk to, no one to confide in. But you must think me weak for saying this. But I am strong enough to admit it.
You're not weak for having suffered. I can't relate, seeing as I have no memory of my past. But I realize it must have been hard.
I thank you for your concern, but maybe I am weak. To think that some stories of my stupid past could possibly interest you.
Look, when you need to talk, I'm here for you.
I thank you. You are kinder than I would have expected. Put up with me using you in this way. I hope that I will not use your time so badly in the future. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Don't really want to talk again. I don't want to get suckered into the romance. I'm just hoping to be a friend, Juhani. Let's go again.
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan?
Just wondering if we could talk.
What is it you would like to speak to me about?
Tell me more about your past.
Well, I mentioned before that my parents had fled to Taris. Perhaps I can tell you about that.
Sure, go on.
In the early days of the Mandalorian War, there had been fighting closer to the Outer Rim worlds.
And your people were in that region?
Cathar was there, yes. My people had a great reputation as warriors, and that appealed to the Mandalore version of honor. They sought to test themselves against us, I think. Test themselves by bombing our world, slaughtering my people while they slept or while they ran.
How did it happen?
They swooped down from space across the world, firing at anything that moved. They used ships in space to destroy all orbital facilities and bombard the surface. We did resist, and in spite of their violent attack, we did stave them off for quite a while. But in the end, we were doomed.
Didn't the Republic help you?
We were not members of the Republic. KotOR was beyond the edge of the Republic, in the Outer Rim. And besides, they could not have known. Our interstellar communications were the first things the Mandalores hit. All other short-range communicators were jammed. We were on our own. We knew what was coming. We had fought the Mandalorians in the first war against Exar Kun and the Sith. We knew there would be no mercy for us. The most we could do was pack the few of our people who survived onto what few ships remained and send them off into space as fast as they could. Most did not make it.
And what about your family?
My parents carried me as a baby with them and were lucky enough to escape. They fled as far as they were able and eventually settled on Taris. They could stand running no further, I think. But Taris was a horrible choice. Dominated by humans, intolerant of other species, it made everyday life unnecessarily hard.
How did your family cope with that?
My father turned to stimulants. He spent much of his time in local bars and dives. But we are warriors. It runs through our blood. And when he was on stims, he became foolish. He let his warrior nature get the best of him. So he would get intoxicated, and he would fight. And finally, one day, he would die.
How did he die?
Killed by a man who provoked him into a fight and killed him like an animal. I am sorry. I cannot talk about this any longer right now.
Oof. Wow, they should have had better counselling at the Jedi Enclave. Juhani has told me of how she lived with her parents on Taris and how her father was killed one day in a bar fight. This is a very sensitive issue for her. She might tell me more in the future. Okay. I will talk to HK, who I completely glanced over and walked away from. Sorry, I'm pretty sure I've already restored his memory though, so not sure what else he can tell me.
HK-47 is ready to serve, Master.
Yeah, I'd like to try restoring more of your memory.
Negatory. I believe that there are no further deleted memories which can be safely retrieved, Master. All earlier memories reside in my core. Those are protected by my safeguards and would be far too dangerous to access. The only way those memories could be obtained is through the proper stimulus, whatever that might be. I am sorry, Master.
Okay, so nothing more we can get from HK. Alright, well let's swing around to Karth and Bastila in the cockpit. So, Bastila,
How can I help?
you've got that look on your face. You want to say something?
I do. I've been trying to come up with the best way to say this for some time, but I suppose I should just come out and say it. The truth is, I have come to depend on you. Not just for the sake of the mission, but for my own sake as well. I'm glad you're with us.
Well, that sounded painful to admit. Really had to work up to it, huh?
Did I? I am trying to be sincere here. It occurred to me that I may have been too critical of you. Too demanding at times.
May have been.
I am trying my best. You're not making this easy for me, you know.
You know, you didn't exactly make things easy for me either.
I see. Is there nothing you can do to make it up to you? I would rather we were friends.
Yeah, I suppose we could be friends.
I know my manner can be a bit taciturn. I know you must be getting sick of my lectures about the dark side and everything else. I spent all my years being hounded by my instructors, being told so often how gifted and important I was until I was sick of it. I remember when I was younger, I used to swear that I would never become as self-absorbed and stodgy as the Jedi Masters. It's ironic, really.
Maybe. But you don't need to be like that.
I suppose not. But I am becoming like that, though it's not easy for me to admit. Being controlled has kept everyone around me at an arm's length. Even those like yourself who are most in need of my understanding and compassion. But maybe it's time to change that. You deserve to know how much I respect and admire you, I just thought I should tell you.
Well, it was Nice to hear, I guess. Thank you.
Well, that was not nearly so difficult as I feared. Thank you for hearing me out. I feel much better. But enough soul searching for now. We should probably continue on with our mission.
Okay, journal entry added. Bastila. Bastila has apologized to me for her earlier attitude and has admitted how much she respects and admires me as a person and a Jedi. Whether this will change anything between us remains to be seen. Yeah, nah, maybe.
What do you need?
You want to talk?
About what? The only thing I want to do right now is find Dustil. If he's alive, there's just nothing else I want to think about. I'll understand if we can't look for him right now, but if we could, it would be a huge load off my mind.
Yeah, alright, Kath. Okay. Okay, let's see if anyone else has anything else to say before we get underway. Juhani,
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan?
wondering if we could talk.
What is it you would like to speak to me about?
So what happened after your father died?
After my father died, my mother was left to support me alone. A single non-human woman, living in one of the worst, most violent slums on Taris. It was not easy for her.
So what happened?
When my father was killed, it seemed that something in her began to die as well. She worked as hard as she was able. But over time, she began to waste away. I later learned that she was unable to get enough money to feed both of us, and had to start borrowing from the exchange, a band of cutthroats and smugglers. But even that was not enough. She hid what she was doing from me. She gave most of her food to me so that I would be strong, but she herself was suffering deeply from it. In the end, she could go on no longer, and collapsed at the cantina where she worked one day.
And what did you do for her?
She never recovered. There was nothing really that I could do for her. She left me no money, and no doctor would see her without being paid first. I sat by her bed for days as she lay there dying. I never want that to happen to someone I care about ever again. But there was still the money she had borrowed. She had never paid it back and made no provisions for her death. You must understand. The exchange is brutal. They care nothing for the life of a sentient being. They are the major suppliers of slaves on Taris.
They captured you?
They thought it would be appropriate that, with my mother owing them money, the debt should be passed on to me. And with no way to pay, they took me by force. You have no idea what it is like to be bound like a beast and treated as such. It was the worst time of my life. They treated me like livestock. They were waiting for a buyer to give them some credit for me when the Jedi came to fight the Mandalorians.
Did the Jedi help you?
The Jedi could not abide by what they saw there, and drove the exchange from the face of the world, freeing those of us imprisoned there. But the Jedi soon left to fight their war, and I was left with a dream.
And what was that dream?
I swore that I would become a Jedi. As soon as I had enough money to do it, I bought passage on a freighter headed for Dantooine, and we both know what has happened since then.
You became a Jedi.
I am grateful to you for having given me the opportunity to fulfill my dream, rather than become what I hated. Someday, I may make it up to you. But for now, let us keep on the task at hand.
Okay, journal entry added. Juhani. I've learned that after her father died, Juhani had been sold into slavery. When the Jedi came to Taris, they freed her and the other slaves. As soon as she was able, she left to find the Jedi and train with them. That is brought her to Dantooine. That is what brought her to Dantooine. She may yet have stories to tell. Perhaps I should ask her later. Okay. I'm assuming that's going to be kind of the wink wink nudge nudge carry on with the game. This will happen later. Kenderus, anything else to say?
Yeah, what do you want?
No. Okay, he's done.
Your choice. I'm here if you want something done right.
Brilliant. Okay, and there's nothing else for Mission to say either. So let's get back to Bastila. Kath won't speak to me, not until we find Dustil, so it's up to you, Bastila.
How can I help?
Nope. Okay.
Then I suggest we move on.
Indeed. So, let's get to the galaxy map. What we really want to do is get to Korriban. That's where Dustil is, and that's where the last star map is. But if you've played the game before, then you know what's going to happen before we get there. So, let's go.
What happened? What's going on?
Sith interdictor ship. They must have been waiting for us on the hyperspace route. We're caught in their tractor beam.
Do you recognize the ship?
It's the Leviathan. Saul Carroth's vessel. My old mentor.
Don't cross your arms, Kath. Get back on those controls.
Admiral Carroth taught me everything I know about being a soldier. He was a legend in the Republic fleet, and a hero to me until he betrayed us. When the Sith attacked my homeworld, the Leviathan, which is Saul Carroth's flagship, was at the head of the fleet. My family was destroyed that day, and my wife died in the Sith bombardment.
I remember everything you've told me, Kath. You don't need to summarize your pain for me. But this sounds like good news. This is your chance to get revenge.
That is not the way of the Jedi.
Ugh.
Vengeance, anger, emotion. These things lead to the dark side.
I'm not gonna do anything stupid. I won't throw our lives away in some mad quest for vengeance, but if I get a chance to kill Saul during our escape, nobody better get in my way.
Talk of an escape is somewhat premature, don't you think? We don't even have a plan to get out of this mess yet.
I'll admit it won't be easy. Saul's no fool, and he won't underestimate us either. You can count on plenty of guards watching every move we make.
Maybe Admiral Carroth doesn't know how many of us there are on board. We all have special talents. Talents we could exploit so that one of us could stage a rescue. We just have to figure out who has the best chance to avoid capture so they can come and rescue us later. It's a long shot, but it's our only hope.
I doubt any of the three of us are going to be left alone. Bastila is the Jedi darling. Saul knows Kath personally, and they've been sending Sith after me since Terrace. It's gonna have to be one of the others to save us.
Well, if we're gonna pick someone to save our skins, we better do it quick. In another minute, we're gonna have Sith troops marching up our loading ramp.
Okay. I mean, if anyone's going to be coming to my rescue, I think it has to be Canderous, really. So, is there any way we could exploit your healing ability, Canderous?
You could give me a shot to delay my healing mods from kicking in. A small incendiary grenade will leave burn marks that look like I was injured while making repairs to the ship. Make my wounds bad enough, and the Sith will drag me off to the morgue or the medical facility to die. When my healing mods kick in, I'll come back and save the rest of you.
Yeah, the plan's risky, but I like it.
I'll go into the Ebon Hawk's armory and give myself that shot right now. The plating on the doors back there will keep the rest of you safe from the grenade explosion.
Hold on, they're dragging us into the docking bridge.
Bastila, Kath, and the crew have been taken prisoner as you ordered, Commander.
Excellent. Have you searched the ship thoroughly? Admiral Carroth warned me to be on alert for any kind of treachery.
We found an injured Mandalorian in the back. Looks like he was trying to rig the ship's engines to break free of our tractor beam when something exploded.
Alright.
Admiral Carroth wants us to question all the prisoners. Did you get any information from him?
He's unconscious right now. I don't think he's going to make it. He's burned pretty bad.
Dump the Mandalorian in the medical bay. Let them take the blame if he dies before the Admiral has a chance to interrogate him.
Yeah, alright.
Kath, it has been far too long since we last spoke. I see the recent months have not been kind in your case. I barely recognized you.
But I recognize you, Saul. I see your face every night, even as I promised myself I will kill you for what you did to my homeworld.
Did you learn nothing in your time under me? As a soldier, you should understand that casualties were unavoidable. This was an act of war.
It was a cowardly act of betrayal. Your fleet bombed a civilian target into oblivion without warning or provocation, and the blood of those innocent people is on your hands.
In war, even the innocent must die. The Sith would not accept me until I proved I had truly turned my back on the Republic by bombing the planet.
My wife died in that attack, Saul. For that, I swear I'll kill you.
You used to be a man of action, not of empty words. Cling to your lust for revenge if you must, but spare me your tired threats. I've heard them all before. You're an insignificant part of these events anyway. Lord Malak is far more interested in your Jedi companions. He has great plans for them.
We will never serve Malak or the dark side. The Sith will be destroyed, Admiral Carroth, as will you if you don't turn away from this path.
Your words are brave, Bastila, but the lure of the dark side is hard to resist. Or so I've been told. I wonder if your companion is as devoted to the light as you are.
Devoted to the Jedi Order? Maybe not. But Bastila's been good to me. She has my loyalty.
You're defiant. I'm certain Malak will find your loyalty to the Jedi amusing. The Dark Lord would probably reward me if I just killed you once and for all, but he may want to question you given the trouble you've caused him, and the history between you.
History? You mean the fact that I've been slaughtering all of his Padawans?
You mean... Oh, this can't be true, can it? You really don't know what's going on here, do you? Well, I won't be the one to deprive Malak of the pleasure of telling you himself. The Dark Lord will no doubt torture you for information and for his own twisted pleasure. Eventually, you will tell him everything. The Sith can be very persuasive. However, Lord Malak is in another sector. It may be some time before he arrives, so I suppose I will have to fill in for him until then. Activate the torture fields. Enough. I don't want them to pass out before I question them. Malak will appreciate any information I can give him when he arrives.
Don't waste your breath, Saul. We won't answer any of your questions.
I'm sure you won't. However, we both know your friend's loyalties have proven in the past to be somewhat flexible.
You don't know anything about my loyalties. What are you talking about?
I am interrogating you, not the other way around. You will answer questions, not ask them. It is time to put your loyalty to the test. I doubt torturing you will gain me your true cooperation. Your will is too strong to be broken that way. However, even the strongest of heroes has trouble watching those they care about suffering. The interrogation will begin now. Each time you refuse to answer or give me a false answer, Karth will suffer.
Really? Karth? Go right ahead. We've never really seen eye to eye.
You expect me to fall for such a transparent ploy? You travel halfway across the galaxy with someone and you expect me to believe you feel nothing for each other? I tire of these games. Now I want answers. On what planet is the Jedi Academy at which you were trained?
Academy of Jedi? Nope, no idea what you're talking about.
Very well, this is the price of your resistance. Enough! You see what happens when you try to defy me. This first question was a test. Obviously, Malak knew the Academy was on Dantooine, and it has since been destroyed by our fleet. Dantooine is an empty graveyard now. Nothing is there but a smoking ruin and the charred remains of your former masters.
You'll pay for their lives with your own. I'll make sure of it.
More empty threats. We Sith prefer to let our actions speak for us. Perhaps that is why we are winning this war. Now, tell me your mission. How were the Jedi planning on using you to stop Lord Malak and our Sith Armada?
That's really none of your business.
Perhaps you need a reminder of the consequences of refusing to cooperate. Listen, can you not hear him suffering? You can spare him further pain by simply answering my questions. Now I will ask again, on what mission did the Jedi Council send you?
We're not answering your questions. Looks like you've accomplished nothing.
Perhaps another lesson is in order.
No! I beg you! Mercy! No!
I'm surprised he did not pass out sooner. Rarely have I seen someone withstand such punishment and remain conscious. I see I'm wasting my time here. When Malak arrives, you will learn my interrogation techniques are considered merciful among the Sith. I will leave you here in your cell with a small taste of the horrors you will suffer when Lord Malak arrives.
Worth it.
Don't try to move too quickly. You might not be fully recovered yet. Admiral Karath had his guards continue to torture you even after you passed out.
They tortured all of us, though you got the worst of it by far. Saul wanted them to make us suffer. He's become some sort of sadistic monster.
The dark side has perverted him, Karth. Once you start down the tainted path, it leads you ever further into the depths of evil. I fear he is forever lost.
I don't think anyone's lost forever, Bastila. Although we should probably punch him a few times to make sure.
Yes. I suppose you're correct. Sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that hope in the face of such unbridled cruelty. But you speak the truth. I suppose I'm taking the news of Dantooine's destruction quite hard. First Taurus, now the Academy. Is there no end to the killing?
It's hard to believe everyone there is gone.
I'd like to believe that Saul was lying to us. But even as he said the words, I knew they were true. The Academy is gone. We should have felt a disturbance in the Force when the attack came. The fact that we did not is a bad sign. I fear the dark side is growing stronger, casting shadows our vision cannot pierce. I can only hope that some of the Jedi escaped. Rook, Endar, Zar. I cannot imagine all of them being gone. In any case, we've lost our one place of refuge in the galaxy.
None of this will matter if we don't get out of this prison before Saul gets back.
Where do you think he is now?
Saul mentioned that Lord Malak was on his way. I think the Admiral left to prepare for his arrival and to report the results of our interrogation.
It is fortunate you were able to resist the Admiral's questioning. The fate of the galaxy could be changed by revealing the slightest piece of vital information.
I have to confess something. There was a moment, just a moment. But part of me was hoping that you would tell him what he wanted to know. Just to make the horrible pain stop.
Kath, he would have tortured us anyway. Didn't matter what I said.
I've known Admiral Kareth a long time, and I think you're right. The interrogation was a sham. Saul was toying with us. He didn't care what we told him. I think it was just an excuse to torture us before Malak arrived.
Did you feel that? A disturbance in the Force. The Admiral has sent his message. The Dark Lord knows we're here now. Malak is coming.
Well, then we better hope Canderous busts us out of here before he arrives.
Heck yes. Hey, okay, that is terrible. That's... oh. Maybe you should have your shirt off more, Canderous. You might equalize your skin tone a little bit more. Anyway, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like button. I upload 3 videos a week, so subscribe and you'll be notified when those go live. Hit the bell to update your notifications. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.